This is Antwerp Mansion, a place that refuses to stay one thing. It's been a home, a club, a sanctuary, and a warning. The lights have changed, but the feeling hasn't, because the strangest thing about this building isn't what people saw inside. It's what the place itself seems to remember. If you listen closely, the floors still echo footsteps from different centuries. Victorian boots, leather shoes, sneakers pounding bass, each one left its rhythm behind. The house doesn't haunt people, people haunt the house. And every time someone walks these stairs, another memory gets trapped in the dust. In this video, we'll peel back those memories. The hidden world of the Victorian elite, the private club with locked doors, the nights when the mansion shook under rave lights, and the whispers that came after. Because this story isn't just about ghosts, it's about how a house learns to hold its history. You stand at the gate. Behind you, Manchester hums. Ahead, the mansion waits, silent, expectant, watching. Step closer, and the air changes. This is where our story begins, not with a haunting, but with the birth of one. In the 1840s, Manchester's money didn't whisper, it shouted. Cotton mills roared through the day and into the dark. Smoke and profit filled the air. Those who could afford it built their escape on the city's edge, a private enclave called Victoria Park. Gated roads, manicured trees, and security guards patrolling on horseback. It was a city within a city, built to protect wealth from the chaos that created it. Among these houses, one stood out, solid, proud, almost defiant. Antwerp Mansion. Its heavy brick walls rose higher than most, its windows taller, its hallways longer. It wasn't just a home, it was a declaration. Whoever lived here wanted the world to know that they had arrived. Inside, the architecture spoke of power. Ceilings arched high enough to echo footsteps, fireplaces big enough to swallow sound. Chandeliers hung like frozen constellations. Even the staircases curved in a way that forced you to look up, to feel smaller than the space around you. The house was built not to welcome guests, but to remind them of their place. Houses learn from their owners. They copy their moods. This one learned discipline. It learned how to hold its breath during dinner arguments, how to swallow gossip in the parlor, how to make every creak sound polite. Over time, it became a teacher in restraint, walls that smiled without warmth, floors that gave nothing away. But time changes everything. The world outside grew louder, freer, less impressed by old money. By the 1920s, the mansion had new residents. No longer a private home, it became a social club. A place where men in dark suits gathered for cigars, laughter, and politics. The air changed from silence to conversation. The ballroom came alive again, but now with speeches and billiard games instead of dances. If the first life of Antwerp Mansion was about distance, the second was about ritual. Guests moved in patterns, coats in the hall, drinks by the fire, a handshake that meant more than words. Every Friday evening, the same laughter filled the same corners. The walls learned repetition. They learned how to predict conversation before it started. Look closer, though, and the mansion's personality was shifting. The marble floors no longer gleamed like they once did. Dust lingered longer on the stair rails. It was as if the house itself was getting tired of being respectable, tired of watching the same stories repeat themselves. Then came the change no one saw coming. The 20th century was ending. The city outside was buzzing with youth, rebellion, and sound. Someone looked at this decaying mansion and saw something new, a venue, the perfect place for noise. And in 2009, Antwerp Mansion became the heartbeat of Manchester's underground. The music was thunder, the lights were wild, the walls that once echoed polite conversation now pulsed with bass and sweat. Where paintings once hung, graffiti bloomed. The chandeliers shook to the rhythm of 1,000 strangers. The mansion, for the first time in its life, felt alive. It learned chaos, it learned freedom. But every freedom leaves a mark. The house that was once elegant now looked battered, plaster peeled, windows cracked, the floorboards moaned under years of dancing. Yet in the middle of all that decay, there was something beautiful, something the house had never known before: belonging. For once, anyone could walk in and be part of its story. When the parties ended, the quiet returned. And that's when people started noticing things they couldn't explain. Footsteps on the stairs when the building was empty. The sound of laughter from the ballroom long after the doors were locked. Lights flickering in rooms without power. A cold breath in the basement that never warmed, no matter how many heaters they brought in. Was it ghosts? Or something else entirely? Maybe a building that had seen so much couldn't help but replay its greatest moments. Maybe those echoes weren't spirits but memories. After all, every era left its fingerprints here. The cautious rhythm of Victorian steps, the laughter of club members, the heartbeat of ravers, layer after layer, pressed into wood and stone. If you stand still in the main hall, you can feel it, the layering of time. The floor tilts slightly where the boards have sunk under generations of weight. The air feels thick, like breath held too long. And sometimes, if you listen carefully, you'll hear a faint vibration, like a song trying to find its way back. The staircase has its own stories. Some say they've seen a tall figure standing at the first landing just beyond the curve, never moving, never speaking. Others have heard the creak of a single step, as if someone followed behind, one pace too far to see. The more you listen, the more you realize, it isn't just one ghost. It's every foot that ever touched those stairs, playing back in chorus. The ballroom tells a different tale. By day, it's drowsy, fading paint and silent walls. By night, when the lights are off and the world outside has gone quiet, something stirs. A faint movement along the far wall. A shimmer of cold air that brushes your sleeve. Some say it's the echo of the dancers, or maybe just the architecture refusing to let go of applause. And then there's the basement. It's colder than it should be, even in summer. The air feels dense, almost physical. Down here, the mansion breathes differently. The walls sweat, the lights hum. Every sound seems to come from behind you, even when you turn. People leave this room uneasy, as if they've borrowed something that doesn't belong to them. Not all stories can be explained away. A photographer once left a camera on a timer and found in one frame a figure on the stairs that wasn't there before. Too tall, too still. Security footage once showed lights turning on, one by one, down an empty corridor, as if someone invisible was walking. Even when the system was offline, sensors flickered. Electricity isn't supposed to do that, but the house never did follow the rules. The truth is, hauntings are rarely about death. They're about memory, a kind of emotional residue left behind when people live intensely in one place. Joy, fear, hope, anger, they sink into walls. Over decades, those feelings gather like dust, and sometimes, when the light is right, they rise again. Today, Antwerp Mansion is different once more. The parties are gone, replaced by art shows, photo shoots, and community events. The rooms are still cracked and tired, but they have purpose again. The West Art Collective uses the space for exhibitions, young artists, bright colors, loud ideas. It's messy, chaotic, and hopeful. And in a strange way, it feels like healing. What makes Antwerp Mansion special isn't the ghosts, it's the transformation. A building born for the few, now open to everyone. A place that's lived a dozen lives and learned something from each. It's haunted, yes, but not by tragedy. It's haunted by time, by the people who came here to feel alive and left pieces of themselves behind. If you ever visit, remember this. Not every shadow means fear. Some are just the outlines of stories too stubborn to leave. Walk the stairs slowly. Listen to the silence between the floorboards. Look at the cracks on the wall. They're the wrinkles of a building that's lived longer than anyone inside it. And if, in the quiet, you hear a voice you don't recognize, don't be afraid. Maybe it's not calling for help. Maybe it's saying thank you for remembering. Because some places aren't meant to die quietly. Some keep talking, long after everyone else has gone home. That's Antwerp Mansion, a house that refuses to settle, a place where history, memory, and energy all live under the same roof. And if you ever feel a chill there, it might not be a ghost at all. It might just be the past brushing past you on its way upstairs.